produce all documents, files, records, videos, and images related to the investigations and prosecutions.
At this point, the Epstein saga is a never-ending drama that keeps giving us one episode after another. The latest in a series of shocking information is the DOJ leaking the entire Epstein list, not part or some, but the entire list. If you thought the previous list they released was jaw-dropping, then you should probably sit tight because this new list is not hiding anything. There is a certain name that was mentioned that has everyone shocked. The famous King of Pop was mentioned, and now people are wondering, was Michael Jackson just conning us all along with his nice boy act? But that's not the only surprise. A certain disgraced music mogul's name is missing, and the question is why. There's also talk that Ellen might be a cannibal. Crazy, right? But one man is not surprised by all these news because for a very long time, Jim Caviezel has been warning the public about Epstein. It looks like there's so much to unpack from this new DOJ list, so let's get into the video. The Department of Justice released one of the largest sets of evidence in a criminal case. We are not talking about hundreds of pages. No, we are talking about over 5.2 million pages of investigative materials, pictures, videos, emails, all related to one man, Jeffrey Epstein.
The latest release from the DOJ is the biggest disclosure of documents they've ever made related to Jeffrey Epstein, but now officials say they're done. On Friday, the Justice Department releasing more than 3 million additional files related to now deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
This document is to provide unprecedented transparency so everyone can be aware of the process. And since the release of the document, everyone on TikTok has become a sleuth overnight, trying to connect dots and names or trying to uncover hidden secrets. The document mentions celebrities, politicians, royal figures, and almost anyone who is important in the world. But certain celebrities have piqued fans' interest more than others. Celebrities like Ellen DeGeneres and Diddy have become fans' focus in the entire saga. Ellen DeGeneres, who has built her brand on being kind and sharing a smile with everyone, has been called Hollywood's most prolific cannibal. And this name did not come as a shock to most people, because with the sheer amount of times her name has been mentioned in the Epstein file, it's little wonder she hasn't been called in for questioning. As if her name did not raise suspicion enough, all of a sudden, Ellen decided to move to England almost the same time the Epstein files came out. This is someone who has built her entire life in Hollywood. All her friends are there. Everything work-related is there, but all of a sudden she decided to move to England. If that doesn't scream guilty, I don't know what else. And really, I don't think anyone is particularly shocked at her name being in the Epstein list. I mean, this is someone who was friends with Diddy, even had a nickname for him, Cuddle McSnuggle stuff. She attended his parties and was always hanging out with him. So if she can hang out with someone as shady as Diddy, then hanging out with Epstein would not be such a big deal for her, right?
Diddy, come on out.
And now with the DOJ files on Epstein out and her names keep popping up, fans are beginning to wonder whether Ellen might be getting an unplanned visit to the DOJ soon. Speaking of Diddy, there's one question hanging in the air. Is his name in the Epstein file? I mean, we can all agree that it's a very valid question because the difference between Diddy and Epstein is only the size of their fortune, but other than that, they are really just cut from the same cloth. Don't come for me now, I'm just doing the reporting. But imagine how crazy it would be while Diddy is currently undergoing his own trial, then boom, his name pops up on the Epstein list. That would just give the prosecution more ammo to use against him in court with his already extensive list of crimes.
Sean Diddy Combs will be back in court today for a post-trial hearing. The court is formulating a sentencing schedule that's supposed to happen in October.
This just leads to an even bigger question. How is Diddy's name missing in the files? If there is anyone's name we were all looking forward to seeing in the files, it was Diddy's name. We expected that maybe they would be exchanging notes or giving each other pointers. To everyone's surprise, Diddy's name never came up. In fact, he and Epstein have never met each other when Jeffrey Epstein was still alive. But if you think that Diddy's name not being mentioned is surprising, well, prepare to be even more surprised. One name that made it to the list that had everybody in chokehold is Michael Jackson. Yes, you heard right. That Michael Jackson, the beloved king of pop, the rights activist that Michael Jackson. His fans are, however, defending him and telling people to leave him alone. But before you begin to think otherwise, remember that simply because his name was mentioned, it doesn't mean that he actually visited Epstein's island. In fact, it was even the opposite. It was Epstein that requested to take a picture with Michael Jackson. And this was even during the period when the world barely even knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. A picture of both men resurfaced online, but Michael Jackson's bodyguard immediately came out to defend the late singer that Michael Jackson was looking at houses. And the realtor asked if Michael could take a picture with a person next door, and the person turned out to be Epstein. Also, anyone who knows Michael Jackson knows that he made it his entire life's mission to protect children from people like Epstein. So to even think he'll associate with someone like Epstein is laughable. He even set up his home Neverland to be a safe haven for children, and everyone knows he has been calling out all the evils done to children. In one of his songs, They Don't Care About Us, where he said, if Roosevelt were living, he wouldn't let this be, it's easy to tell that he was talking about all the perverse things that were going on, and that if President Roosevelt was alive, it probably wouldn't be happening. Michael Jackson has always talked about how he wants to protect children and give them a safe place. And his fans made sure to remind people when the DOJ files were released, because an article from Variety talked about how the writer's account was sent several hate messages from Michael Jackson's Stan account, reminding him that Michael Jackson was good. But Michael Jackson was not the only celebrity that has been warning us about people like Epstein and his disgusting deeds. We also have Jim Caviezel. If you spent 5 minutes on one side of the internet, there's a very high chance that you have seen an actor giving a very emotional speech about trafficking and all the dangers that are done to kids.
Called The Innocent is taking real actions to prevent crimes right here in the United States. This is an organization that actually intervenes by training the men and women who have the legal authority to stop predators and traffickers, actual law enforcement officers. Now, what makes The Innocent different is simple. Every single dollar funded by the people stays right here in the United States. Every instructor is an active duty or retired law enforcement officer with real experience investigating these crimes. Most importantly, The Innocent takes a proactive approach, and that's critical. See, we have to get ahead of these crimes before more children are harmed. And while most departments get lost in red tape, The Innocent cuts right through it, providing advanced training and equipment completely free to law enforcement. So many of us know these crimes are happening, and it's increasing by the day. There are very few resources specifically funding the prevention of child sex crimes, which is why it's so important that we, the people, fund these specific tools and this training in our communities, and that we do it now. So I'm asking you, please follow theinnocent.usa. Share this message. There's a long list of officers and agencies just waiting for this training.
While most Hollywood stars were too busy caring about social issues, Jim Caviezel made it his life mission to speak out about all the atrocities that are committed by Hollywood members and how they affect children. He has even made movies that are centered on men who buy children, take them to an island, and use them for Sounds familiar, right?
Jim Caviezel plays the main character, Tim Ballard, in The Sound of Freedom, and Eduardo Verástegui, who is the producer of The Sound of Freedom, also stars in the movie as well. And the movie is based on the true story of Ballard, who is a former government agent turned freedom fighter who rescues dozens of children from human trafficking.
Well, that's because it is. I mean, we can all say the movie was inspired by Jeffrey Epstein's infamous island, and Jim Caviezel himself also confirmed that during the screening of the movie, when the scene of the island showed, people actually screamed Epstein's island. Jim Caviezel has constantly spoken out that Epstein's island is not the only one, that there must be several others like him, but they have gotten good at hiding.
One more time it happened. At the end, I was asking about the movie, and I asked him about that one particular part where everybody's talking, and they all cried out Epstein Island. And I went, oh, okay. Now I understand what we're up against.
Wow.
Epstein Island isn't the only island out there.
It is clear that Epstein's file would keep making the headlines for a very long time, because every day the DOJ keep dropping new information about the case, and people keep trying to solve the entire case like it is a Rubik Cube. But what do you think? Was Michael Jackson trying to secretly warn the world? Was Ellen DeGeneres really involved in all of the Epstein saga? And how exactly did Diddy escape the list? Leave your thoughts in the comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.